All right, guys, welcome to another episode of 40 and Fit, where we take a deep dive into the male mind on the verge of a midlife crisis. What are we on, episode 26?
This will be episode 7 of season 2, so I'm just going to go with that.
All right, cool. I don't know the math then. It's got to be 27 then.
I don't know.
27. My name is John Baruch. I will be the Red Ranger today. I had to throw that one out there. To my right.
I'd like to be the Black Lion. We're going to mix Power Rangers
We're
and
mixing
Voltron then.
All right. They don't come together the same way, though.
It's fine.
It's
We'll
cool.
find a new document.
Do we like Voltron better?
Of course.
Do we really?
Yeah, Voltron is probably the precursor to Power Rangers, for sure.
They're both by Saban, right? Saban?
Maybe.
Whatever.
Bandai?
Bandai? Nah, I think whatever. That's cool. It's what it is.
And I'll form the head.
Yes.
That's me. That's why I had to do that. But anyways, to my right, we got Dave Clark. I actually had you as a Green Ranger. No?
No, I don't know anything about Power Rangers.
Oh,
Nothing.
dude, we got to do some research.
Nothing.
They have a new movie coming out and everything.
I don't care.
Oh, dude.
Now, if you would,
Have some kids.
I could be
have to run.
Panthro, I would be.
Oh, we're going to go with that.
Yeah.
You would be Panthro.
Sure.
Oh, I would be Cheetah. Chitara.
You look good in those spandex.
I know. I got the skin tone. My undertones go with it. Today, we have a special guest. To my left, we have Andrew Mendez,
That is me.
or a.k.a. DJ Andrew Mendez.
Yeah, whatever is
We have a special
comfortable. Yeah, Andrew's
Mendizzy.
fine. Mendizzle for shizzle, whatever.
Is that no?
Andrew
Listen,
Mendez.
I figured, oh, you don't want to be cool? Or that's just cool enough.
That's cool enough,
All
man.
right. Sometimes people want that special name. Brought him in today to go over a couple of things from, I had to do a little research on you to understand, take a deeper dive into where you fit into what we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
These guys pushed you pretty hard, and I was like, okay, cool. Let's see what we got.
He's probably been your counterpart in parallel for. just
I have
about
a
the same
feeling
amount
just
of
from
time.
doing the research, I'm just like, wait, we probably know the same exact people.
You look super familiar.
That's what I was
so-
going to say. I was like, wait, you're probably my cousin.
Yeah.
We're both Filipino here.
yeah, but all Filipinos look
We're all
alike,
cousins.
right?
Whatever. It's all the same thing. But yeah, so
That's
how
so you can see each other over the fence.
there's a hole in the fence. We use the broken
But
hole
I
in the
think he's
fence.
taller than I am, though, so whatever.
That's cool. Everyone's taller than me.
I'll stand on his
I've given up
turntables.
that whole thing since I was 19. So it's all good. But yeah, so today we're going to take a deep dive into your life
Awesome.
and your perspective on the fitness and actually your realm of your world at this point, right?
Yeah,
And I'm
absolutely.
very curious is one thing, but we'll start off with the basic questions that we start off with here. Like I said, we take a deep dive into the mind of a male in the midlife crisis, right? Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, how old are you?
I'm 43.
43.
All of us are.
We are all the same age.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look at that.
Shoot, look at that. Yeah.
We're the middle of the Venn diagram right now.
It's weird. He just made me feel awkward. It's cool. So, with that, the big question that I always start off with is, do you believe in midlife crisis? If so, have you gone through it? Because for me, I'm very upfront about this. I started feeling a little weird at 37.
Mm-hmm.
I started having stresses in life. And you're a DJ, right? A lot of things that would bring back memories or like make me feel a little nostalgic is always music, right?
Mm-hmm.
I go back to these guys all the time. Monica, Brandy, all that stuff.
Yeah.
They'll just bring back stuff as to what I wish could happen. And I said this before, like Monica was my big crush back in the day. And I'm like, oh, she got married.
Number
And I was
one on the
just-
speed dial.
Yeah, if I had it, right? And I was always upset. I'm like, damn, I can't believe she got married, right? Or Kelly Rowland. Oh, Kelly Rowland, she got married. I never had a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But it was weird. One of those things where I started feeling a little weird, a little disappointed in myself, where I'm not where I'm supposed to be, where I should be. I don't know what God has in plan for me. And at that time, in the last 5 years, I started feeling that way, but I thought I was the only one going through it. That's why I asked Dave, because Dave and I go back 20 plus years.
Wow.
I asked him, yo, do you ever think about this stuff? Am I the only one going crazy? What's going on? Like, I'm going through a divorce. What's going on with that stuff?
Yeah.
And so it started resonating in my head. I'm like, am I the only one that can answer these questions? So I started asking out loud. And a lot of people are like, no one wants to talk about these things. So that's why we created 40 and Fit, is to actually to start off just reaching out to guys. Because also, again, I talk about kids. I have kids. When I go to their schools, I see the parents, and I'm like, I look at them, and I'm like, man, why do you look the way you do? Right? I'm just like, we're supposed to be the same age, but you look terrible. Like, and
Yeah.
I'm honest with that, but I'm like,
Nah,
why do you look so
for
beat
sure.
up?
Mhm.
You know, what stresses are you going through that maybe I can help you with, but at the same time, I need help, right?
Mhm.
So have you ever gone through that type of thing and felt like regret?
You know what? I will say wholeheartedly, probably this past year and a half, I have been.
Really?
100%. Yeah. I mean, this pandemic was definitely, it hit me hard, personally, professionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. Definitely have been overcoming and continue to overcome adversities in my own personal fitness. Yeah, so I would probably say to look back, probably this last year, I've just been going through it for sure.
Wow. So what have you been doing to try and get through it?
Trying to practice what I preach. I mean, I've been in the fitness industry for, man, over 25 years. So just trying to get a little bit of that swag of what I used to tell my clients and what I used to preach to my classes on, trying to be consistent in something. Check the wins each and every single day, just to make sure that I'm feeling good about myself and feeling positive about myself, because it could definitely turn really, really quick. And for the most part of my life, up until like I would probably say the last year or two, been a super positive person. And I think everybody who knows me pretty well, you always see me smiling around, and I'm a super fun, happy guy. But internally, these last couple of years have just been really tough. And definitely started off with the pandemic. You know, I had to walk away from a career that I really, really loved, and that was health and fitness. I had changed careers, lost 2 jobs throughout the pandemic because of the struggles with the fitness industry. Had to make a pivot. So that's probably one of the things that kind of started everything off. And then fast forward a little bit later, I got COVID. Yeah.
You had it before the vaccines?
Yeah, it was like last April, first week in April.
Okay. I had it last January.
Yeah. So like, man, I went from running 5 miles, 6 miles a day, working out 2 times a day. That was my lifestyle. Like that was it. Anytime I had problems or stresses or anything, like the gym was my go-to. And when I got COVID, my engine, like my pride and joy, my cardiovascular endurance went to shit. And man, I couldn't,
like corn kernels now.
yeah. And I remember I could barely walk up and down stairs, and I couldn't catch my breath. And then I just started feeling super depressed about myself. I couldn't exercise. Then that turns into bad eating habits and looking towards everything else to make myself happy. And, I love food. And it was very easy to just be upset with myself. And that's how it was for up until probably like around 5 months ago, when I just decided to get back to who I am, accept no excuses, and keep moving forward no matter what.
What triggered in you that you had to change there?
I looked in the mirror at myself, and I saw how horrible I looked and how I looked like every other 40-year-old that was out there. And I used to take pride in how I was always better than everybody. But I wasn't better than everybody. I used to treat everything like a competition. And whether it was I woke up earlier than everybody, I was at the gym earlier than anybody, like I was just always competitive. So when I looked at myself in the mirror and I saw how far I let myself go, and I remember even texting you that I was going through like consistency issues and all that stuff. And I just decided to get back to being competitive with myself and accepting no more excuses, because I was just using, oh, COVID, I'm out of breath, I can't exercise, I can't do this. And I was using can't. And yeah, looking in the mirror at myself, I was just like, something's got to change. And that was when the switch flipped. And I started trying to jog outside. So like 5 minutes went to 10 minutes. 10 minutes went from like a walk, jog. And then finally, when I was able to walk, jog 3 miles, I just started getting wins in my corner. And then my focus kind of changed because I went from running 6-minute miles to now walk jogging. And when I finally completed my first 3 miles without walking, that was like the first goal that I had.
When was that?
Getting out of
When
that.
did you hit that?
Probably like 4 or 5 months ago. And then that's when I said to myself, it's time to work out. Let's get back in the gym. And I felt confident enough to walk in the gym because I was embarrassed to go into the gym because every gym that I walked into, I knew someone or I knew the gym.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to walk in there looking like the way that I did because I was really embarrassed.
Yo, it's so weird though. I was just even telling these guys last time that, I got back to work during COVID. We went and we opened up Jeff's Quest. Cliff was one of my guys over there, my assistant manager basically over there. And I was in the best shape of my life during COVID because all I had to do was work out, right? All I did was work out. So I got into some just sick shape for myself. I was like, yo, this is incredible. Like I felt good. Got the job and all of a sudden I hated being in the gym again. Like I hated working. I hated being around, well, at least just the gym that I work in, right? Like everyone's like, oh, you have a free membership. Yeah, but I hate being there. Like I don't want to talk to anyone. People, members would complain to me while I was working out. If I take I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man.
I know that feeling.
And I hated it. I hated it, and I just stopped working out. I really stopped doing so much stuff. And then obviously this past couple of months, a lot of stuff has happened where I lost my job, whatever, they let me go. And I looked at myself and I was like, well, it's time to just change something, right? And that's where, I mentioned these guys like, listen, I need a place to work out. Like I got to do something. So those last 2 weeks have been straight for me. I think I've only missed 1 day of working out in the last 2 weeks where literally same thing. I was on the elliptical, right? I'm on the elliptical. I go, my knees are killing me. I was like, I don't want to do this. So the best thing I did was I turned on the computer on my phone and I just watched The Peacemaker. I just went through like movies and it just zoned out and I just went into it. And now, and finally I feel like, all right, I'm almost there. I'm getting back. Even bench pressing. Like I don't even want to bench press anymore, but I tried benching the other day. It's like weird. I was like, oh my God, 185. I'm dying. I'm like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I shaking? I was like, oh, I'm one of those guys now. And I refuse to let that happen to myself again. I just refuse at this very moment. I'm like, I refuse it. And I have private clients that I train at home in their homes. I'm like, I can't believe I can't even do the things that I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And I'm telling these guys what to do. I go, this is terrible. This is it's unacceptable at this point. So I understand that whole pivot. I'm like, dude, just do it. Just get into it. And the only reason, like one big thing is for me is I have time. It's either that or sit and watch movies all day. But I could watch a movie while I'm on the treadmill or the elliptical at this point.
Yeah.
So I get that part. COVID. After getting COVID, I was suffocating. I couldn't breathe. Like I had 4. I didn't have it as bad as a lot of other people did, but I had 4 really bad days where I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was suffocating. Yeah. And that resonates with my head a lot still. And it's weird. I didn't think it was ever going to be one of those things, but I think that as you get older, you just pay attention a lot to your body.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of things I pay attention to now. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this still hurts. Why is my feet hurt? I'm like, someone massage me. And I go through all those weird things. But yeah, no, so that's great. So you've made your pivot. You're back into fitness.
Yeah, I'm just when I crossed that marker for myself, I was like, I could do cardio and I could do something for 30 minutes. I joined something that I knew I needed to find something that excited me to work out again, and something that I'm passionate about is Thai boxing, Muay Thai.
So you did Muay Thai?
Yeah.
I thought it was just boxing.
Billy Blanks, baby.
Yeah, Muay Thai.
So not the same thing.
It's still the same thing.
So not the wait. Who did you do Thai boxing? Who'd you start with?
Wow. Where did I start? I mean, I was teaching.
Where'd you learn?
I'm kind of like self-taught. I mean, I used to go to Thailand.
You did?
I would train out there for weeks at a time and then come back and teach it. My journey through Thai boxing actually started here at the gym. I like
that though. Like, I'm self-taught. but I went to Thailand.
know?
It's like, I learned how to paint. I went to the Louvre and just looked at the Mona Lisa for a couple hours. I fucking picked it up.
I'm nuts. If you're going to do
Okay.
something, you got to go all in, right?
Nice.
So I remember, earlier in my fitness career, I was the assistant GM over at Montvale at the gym. And I remember telling Jeff I had aspirations of opening up like my own kickboxing gym. And I was teaching at CKO, and I was
Not the same thing.
not the same thing.
No, definitely not.
And then, I had those aspirations. And then throughout that time while I was doing CKO and teaching kickboxing, I'm trying to figure out what kind of business I wanted to first start off in. I had a buddy of mine, his name is Mike Constantino. He owned this gym called AMA Fight Club. And I remember he called me up and he goes, "Yo, why don't you stop teaching those pussy classes and come take a Thai boxing class?" So
You're like, Mom, that's no way to talk to me.
so I went to AMA Fight Club. I stepped in this advanced Muay Thai class with a bunch of killers, and I was so intimidated. But the first time I kicked a pad for the first time, it was just love at first sight. It felt like I hit a home run. And that was when I got
bruised up your shins.
No, it was on pads. So it wasn't
Thai pads.
Thai pads.
You didn't bruise your shins on them?
No.
Strike first, strike hard, no mercy.
That's karate.
It's Cobra Kai, bitches.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, but they lost. Like, Johnny lost. Johnny joined Ralph.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
So yeah, I mean,
That's awesome.
the rest is history. It was, I guess if there's anywhere that I got my start, it was at AMA Fight Club.
Okay.
And then,
I do know AMA Fight Club. I do
Yeah.
know them, yeah.
yeah, they're in Weaponey, and now I opened up another location in that area. He's doing really, really well. I mean, he had a bunch of championship fighters that came out of there as far as UFC. I mean, the Miller brothers have trained there.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, have you heard of Crew that used to be out here?
I heard of them because there was another Filipino that owned that
It was
place.
Ace.
Right? Yeah, Ace.
I was the general manager for him.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, we ran the largest Muay Thai organization
That's
technically
right.
in the world.
Yeah, I remember.
We had 128 schools under us.
Yeah.
And sucks for him. He lost it all.
It's too
I
bad.
learned under him, and then I left Crew,
Mm-hmm.
and I went and trained with Phil Nurse
Oh, nice.
in the city. I
Yeah.
started working for Phil Nurse at the Watt,
Oh, it's sick.
and I was doing business stuff for him also, and I learned under him. Totally different world.
Yeah.
Totally different world. Ace is an incredible instructor, not a good business person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're both very bad business people. Let's put it that way. Yeah, like Phil Nurse, Phil Nurse is incredible teacher.
Yeah.
Incredible teachers.
That's
I
the
mean,
man.
he had the real guys. He had Frankie,
Yeah, he had
Rashad.
everybody.
He has everyone. but he didn't collect, so therefore people owe him money. So that's
Yeah.
why he hasn't been teaching them. But no, that's cool. So that's why my question was when Andrew was telling me that you made the boxing here, I was like boxing, or was
Yeah.
it like
Nah.
because what's his name? Who's the other
Marvin.
Marvin? Because Marvin came from Crew
Mm-hmm.
under Ace.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he did.
and he was there
Yeah.
before I was, and again, there's a whole history I could go into about
Yeah.
Ace and in the whole schooling. And I mean, he has Kali now. He's doing
is he?
he's doing Filipino martial arts over there
Nice.
now. Yeah, he's
That's
like
awesome.
legit one of the better guys in Kali in the
Yeah.
area. But he gave up the Muay Thai, and I was like, but this guy trained under Toddy and all like the big guys out
Yeah.
there. So it's weird. So, all right, cool. So you do Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Have you fought?
No.
You just trained. Okay,
I just
cool.
trained. I was honestly into it just for the pure fitness aspect of it. I mean, I'm 5'9" and I'm 220 right now. So in order for me to fight in that sport, I'm fighting.
You got to
guys.
drop down to
You
like,
gotta
like
and I love food too
155.
much. Yeah, and I
170.
physically cannot get down to 155.
Yeah, I've acknowledged that part too.
Yeah.
I've never been that light since I was 13, and I will never get down to that point.
Yeah, so I just really got into the fitness aspect of it. I played sports all my life, so like coaching always came natural to me, and I was able to just look at someone and be able to, translate or give great cues to be good at something. And teaching Muay Thai, it just was natural for me.
Okay.
And then, I went from AMA Fight Club, then I started training at this place called North Jersey Muay Thai.
Oh yeah, and JMT.
Yeah, and those guys,
I
Crew Ray.
know Ray,
And
but
Crew
the other,
Joe.
the white guy. I know Joe too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Ognian?
Ognian. I
Oh,
can
yeah,
never
he's the
pronounce his
man.
name.
Yeah.
That's why.
OT, yeah, he's doing
so
his
funny.
thing.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
won championship. man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I was there for a little bit, and then that was when my passion for wanting to teach
When did you get
grew.
there?
We're at North Jersey.
Yeah.
I don't remember what years. I don't even remember like yesterday. But yeah, I was there for a little bit, and they sparked a more of a passion to be able to teach it. And then that's when I was still working here at the gym, and
So you're doing both.
yeah.
You were teaching Muay Thai and also training here as a trainer.
No, I was actually not a trainer.
Oh,
here
you were
yet.
the assistant manager over at Montville. Got it.
I was just
Okay.
training, and then Jeff, I would always go to Jeff with all these business plans on how to open up a gym, and he would challenge me and he would turn me down, and he'd be like, no, this is not how you got to write it. Do more research. And I'm so thankful for all those lessons when every time I gave him a business proposal on Rob, they gave me such great feedback on how to really do it the right way, until one day Jeff was like, hey, we got a storage closet upstairs in Englewood. Why don't we train it? Why don't we turn it into a studio, and you can teach out of there instead of opening up your own gym? And the rest is history. From there, we bought mats, bought heavy bags. Then I started doing sessions out of there, and it blew up instantly. Like, I went from one client to doing 40 sessions. And when I first started, in less than 3 weeks, it really, really just exploded. And that's when I hired Marvin, because Marvin and I used to teach at CKO, and he's still here, which it warms my heart every time I see him. And we were just banging out sessions left and right in there. It was great.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you've seen the transitions. You've seen the differences between the martial arts business as well as the health club, right? I've always said that. Recently, I've said a lot about when it comes to the business aspect of things.
Yeah.
These days, team training, small group, the boutique fitness should be really modeled after a martial arts school, to be honest with you. I think that because those guys, I've met martial arts owners that they have 900 square feet and they're making $2 million a year.
Yeah.
900 square feet. I'm like, dude, you have a gym here. How big is this gym? What do we think it is? 50,000 square feet?
It's like, no, I think it's like 30.
Oh, it's 30?
Yeah, I would probably say that.
Only 30,000. Yeah, but
Yeah.
still. It's 30,000.
30,000 square. That's with the locker rooms and everything.
Yeah.
Also, that's all. All right. So the gym's not as big. Okay. Yeah. So even at that, 30,000 square feet, are you making $2 million a year off memberships alone? With one, but think about the overhead too. That's my big thing also when it comes to the overhead. There's less overhead in a martial arts school, 900 square feet, than there is an entire
That
gym.
is true. But what you were just saying a moment ago, like how you think martial artists were always successful at holding a gym, right, in a small box.
Yeah,
of some
I
sort?
said martial arts schools were more successful on a smaller scale. What I meant to say, that aspect.
I think the reason why that is, and it goes with anybody who's successful in fitness, is when you speak to a martial artist, you can feel their passion. And when you feel someone's passion for something, you want to join that.
Right.
And I think that's what separates the best from the worst. Like, if you're a great trainer or great at anything, you have to be passionate about it. So I think the passion that I had for health and fitness and Muay Thai and anything else, that's kind of what made me successful in anything, is just you got to be passionate about it and you got to be genuine. People feel that.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. It's not a pitch anymore.
Yeah.
It's just passion. And once you put a dollar amount to that type of passion, it becomes a pitch, and then people are like, "Oh, you just want the money."
Exactly.
And that's what happened. I mean, that's legit. That's why I tell people. I was having a conversation with. I was just telling Andrew earlier that I met with Rumble Boxing is opening up right here in Englewood.
Oh, are they?
They are.
Oh, wow.
And I met with the training director today because I applied for the general manager position, and just speaking to them. I was like, do you guys know what you're doing? They're opening 2,000 square feet, and the owner herself, I was telling Andrew this, the owner herself has never run a gym before in her life. She was a member at the Chelsea location, and she just found a passion for Rumble Boxing, and she's going to work a full-time job while the gym, the studio is going to be opening, right? See, this is exactly what I said. I go, hold on. So you're gonna keep your full-time job, and then what? And she goes, I'm gonna hire all the staff, and then whoever's gonna be general manager is gonna run the business. I go, so if I get hired, I don't get a say in who gets to work under me. She's like, well, I would just do all that. I go, and then if something happens in the gym, who does that go to? That would be the general manager. I go, do you see the disconnect at this point? I go, how do you put something on somebody else when it was your fault?
Yeah.
You know, I was asking weird questions. Like, you don't get how the game is
But
at this point.
that's a lot of the boutique fitness fad. It's
Because
a
they're
member.
franchised at this point.
Yeah, it's a member who becomes passionate about the brand, and that's kudos for building that kind of promoter for your business, and they want to, you know, breathe your brand.
Yeah, but I like
then-
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and I'm not going to fucking try to open my own General
yeah.
Mills.
They-
Like, let them
But
do
what
their
happens
own
if
thing.
you do?
I'm going to be a shitty cereal maker.
Yeah.
But I get his point.
Yeah.
It's great that as a company, as a business, you can either foster culture that really makes people want to be a part of that and create their own thing. But I think what they miss is that, one,
Doesn't mean you can
the
open
experience.
Exactly.
If you're, what do you say?
one. Doesn't mean you can open one.
Yeah.
No, if you're right. If you're good at the business end, you're probably halfway decent at figuring out how to make the experience an experience and having the members enjoy that thing. And they don't even have to think about how the business runs. They don't care. They're just here for the experience. So they don't just translate to one another.
And that's exactly where I was trying to go with it, and asking my question. I was asking my probing questions as to why would I even want to work
And
for
sometimes
you?
Yeah.
the experience is the other members, the culture you've created, the other trainers, instructors, employees, whatever it is. Even if there's towels, even the guys folding the towels. Like I don't know why people think they could just snap their fingers, throw some money at it, and be like, it's the same thing. No, it's not.
It's not. It's definitely not. I had a small stint in franchise fitness. I was a business development manager for a company called Gym Guys that did home
I
personal
know Gym
training.
Guys, yeah. I worked for Gym Guys also.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, which one?
Corporate. I was working alongside Josh York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Long Island.
Yeah, they moved me out there. So that
Wow.
was one of the jobs that I was going back. If you have another hour, I could go through my whole fitness thing during COVID.
Wow, we
but,
really do live parallel lives here.
6 degrees of Filipino right here.
yeah. Yeah. So,
That's a new hashtag, man.
so I
That's
was
a good one.
real quick. I was opening up a gym. It was a company called BKBX. We were poised to open up 20 locations in the first 5 years. It was a startup.
BKBX. What's that?
British Knights Extreme.
That's what
Exactly. British Knights, the sneakers.
The sneakers. They gotta bring those back.
The parent company was Brooklyn Boulders, and it was a bouldering
Oh
company.
yeah, I know Brooklyn Boulder.
Yeah, Brooklyn
They have
Boulders.
them out in New York City still.
Yeah, New York, Washington, Chicago.
Yeah, I mean the one in Long Island
Yeah.
City is always asking for general manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they recruited
Hobo.
me because they were going to start a fitness club, fitness division. So they hired me to put the business model together, the sales operations, all that stuff. And I worked alongside one of my greatest mentors. Is Dr. Paul Juris. He was one of the guys who created EFTI, Equinox Fitness Training
yeah.
Institute.
Basically,
Yeah, he was the guy who
NSCA.
created it. One of the smartest guys I know. We put together a proprietary workout for this company, and we're poised to open up, like I said, 20 locations in the first 5 years. And the first mega facility was in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, 30,000 square feet. It was fantastic. Thought I had my dream job, was going to retire. I was like, okay, I put this whole thing together with this guy. It's going to be fantastic. And then COVID happened during pre-sale. So we had to close that whole entire project up.
wow.
Yeah, it stunk. So in between, that was when Josh York found me on LinkedIn, recruited me to kind of go work for him, and moved me out to Long Island. I was his general, his business development manager for his corporate territories. So getting back into what we were talking about earlier was I was meeting with a lot of franchisees
Yeah, area developers. Yeah,
that wanted to open up
the ARs. Yeah,
the
Gym Guys
franchise,
is a franchise, yeah.
and nobody really had fitness industry experience.
No. I mean I worked for the Northern
Even
Jersey.
Josh didn't, right? Josh was like
Greenstead,
CPA or something,
Yeah,
right?
he was working for. It was a school. And he was selling the student. Remember the student life. That's
Wait.
what he did for
Josh York?
Greenstead.
Greenstead. Okay,
I worked
yeah.
for Josh for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, and I introduced him to Dave to try to get
The
get nutrition with him,
yeah.
right? And he went with another direction and still didn't work. And I was
Yeah.
like, all right, dude, whatever, it didn't work.
Yeah, they went with trifecta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's still not working out very well.
Yeah. I was part of that, the bringing the trifecta thing on.
Yeah, there was so many other ways that they could. I mean, no, I'm still really good friends with Josh, and,
Mm-hmm.
and I asked him if he's got any extra work that he. That's the reason why I was getting the certification. Just so I'm like, if you're throwing me
Yeah.
clients, I'm like, yo, dude, just throw me some clients at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, no, Gym Guys was awesome, and working alongside Josh York was even better. I mean, that guy is a beast. So I valued a lot of my time there.
They're in Europe now.
Yeah,
I didn't realize how
Yeah.
big they've really gotten. I was like,
Yeah.
this is pretty legit.
it was great. I was so happy to be working alongside him again, and I got a little taste of the franchise business. But it was just crazy to me that, you know, you had people that weren't really into health and fitness that were
People
opening
are
up
just buying it. They
franchises.
think that it's going to happen.
Yeah, but that happened across the board. I mean, that happened with CrossFit. I mean, you look at early stages of CrossFit,
Yeah.
you had people that would get certified and keep their day job, like you were
Yeah.
speaking of, and open up a box and think it was going to be successful. And you got to be all in.
Yeah.
Got to be all
You got to
in.
learn how to work your front desk.
Yeah.
That's my big thing. I'm like, if you don't even know the basic stuff, I was like,
Yep.
you're not willing to like, you know, clean the toilets. You're not willing to mop the floors.
hmm
You know, that's very different, man. I'm like, listen, you don't know customer service because you're the customer. You have this weird expectation that every customer is going to, you know, you gotta understand every customer is going to be like you. And if you have this high expectation, you can't live up to your own. It's very different. I tell people that all the time. That's why, again, I don't just go join member gyms because of, you know, a certain expectation. I'm like I know the value of what I want out of a gym.
hmm
Like, as much as I love this facility, I think it's a great facility. To me, number one, I can't afford it. Number two, it's for what I want out of it. I don't need all the bells and whistles, so it's not for me. That's just my whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a great facility. You know, if I can, you know, whatever, get a discount, I'm perfectly fine with it. But other than that, I'm like, it's more than I need, and it changes the financial perspective for me. That's
sure.
all that it is. That's why I would go with it. I personally would go with a retro. I'll be honest with you, because it's $20 a month. I put my headphones on, I don't talk to anybody, and I do my thing.
hmm
That's the way I see things. But you know, there's such a big change on how the game is at this very moment, because everyone's struggling. Like, I didn't realize how bad everyone is really struggling. We reopened up Jeff's Quest, and we ended up having to close that because we were breaking even. Ended up, Fountain Fitness, which is, Cliff, where are they at now? Like 1,000 members? Yeah. Just about 1,000 members, which is great, but they still haven't changed anything. You know, they haven't updated specific things like the locker. Locker rooms are never going to get done.
I remember I thought, was like, oh, they just got done. Those got done in like 2003.
Right. It was a
Seems
long
like
time
yesterday.
ago. Sometimes it does. I'll be honest with you. That's why the game is just very different at this point. So
Completely different.
So since I understand exactly where you're coming from. From seeing all that stuff, in-home training, the working in a luxury place, doing all this stuff, martial arts schools, all that other fun stuff. Where do you see the industry going right now? Where do you think it should be? Where do you think the peaks are at this point?
Man,
Like Peloton went down. Did I mention this last week? How Peloton was at the peak of COVID. Peloton was worth $5 billion.
Mhm.
It's now worth $1.8 billion. I'm like, dude,
$4 billion just up in the ether,
like
huh?
like God, people are selling their bikes.
it's used as coat hangers.
Right. They're literally like there's no investment in that company,
Yeah.
which is still crazy because they're still almost $2 billion.
hmm
It's lies.
I think some of that, though, too, is when you're forced into a corner, sometimes
Absolutely.
you just do the thing.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck it, I'll do Peloton workouts, right? Now you have a lot of people are still venturing out.
Mhm.
You know, it's like, I said to my client today, it's quiet in here. And it is quiet. My schedule is jammed.
Mhm.
You know, so it's like people are still out back doing their thing. So I think a lot of that too is, I don't think people lose faith in the brand. They just weren't that brand's initial target audience to begin with. They just
Right.
kind of gained them by
Because they had no
default.
other option. Right.
Right.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
I think you have to have a human element to health and fitness. So I believe that everything's going to come full circle and everyone's going to come back to a gym eventually. I think the people who are going to win are the ones who show the most value to a gym membership, and who is going to make it more of an experience and a personable experience rather than looking at a member as a number.
Right.
Because was I just talking about this with someone else before, or was it here? It's just
Deja
always,
vu.
yeah. I just really had deja vu. That's crazy. But it's just at the end of the day, it's about. Yeah, I was talking about downstairs with someone. It's about being genuine and having those types of experiences, and how you're going to evoke emotion out of that person in front of you who wants to be a part of that community. And I think whatever company or whatever facility does that the best is going to win at the end of the day.
Do you believe one-on-one training is going to make its way back up, or do you think
I absolutely do.
That was a fun flex bomb.
That
I love the music.
was amazing.
that was the bomb? That was like the toilet flushing, bro. I was like,
Oh, it's on autoplay. Sorry. You haven't quite worked out.
that was
amazing.
That scared the hell. I thought we were getting attacked. I was like, what? What was
Harbor.
that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I really do believe one-on-one personal training will make a comeback, without a doubt.
That was the sound of gym guys trying to bomb us.
Everyone needs a trainer, no matter how experienced you are. Everybody can use a personal trainer.
You
Now,
see the benefits in small group training.
absolutely. I see the benefits in any type of training working with a fitness professional.
Okay.
Something is better than nothing. One of my positions when I sold my box fit Muay Thai business to join corporate America was I was in charge of the group training programs for Lifetime Fitness. So that was one of my responsibilities at Lifetime in Bergen County, was to run those group training programs. And I remember talking to people, what I thought was, since if you can't afford one-on-one personal training, because let's be real, it's a luxury product,
it is,
you know, I would always say, hey, I know you know this is a little bit out of your means right now, but why don't you just do group sessions with me? Something is better than nothing, and I'm still going to give you 110% no matter how much you're paying, because that's the type of fitness professional I am. I don't care. I just want to help you. Just let me be a part of your life somehow.
Right. I think it's a huge thing.
Yeah. So I think if you could work with a fitness professional in any capacity, it's a plus.
Cool. I
Yeah.
totally agree.
Apps are only going to take you so far. And there's so many people with apps and prepackaged workouts and all the AI. And it's just not, I see people downstairs using apps, and most of these apps are fucking garbage. I go watch a guy in the morning, and the amount of stupid movements and redundancy in the workout is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I want to be like, I know it may only be $9.99 a month, but you'd be better off subscribing to like fucking HBO Max for $9.99 a month than wasting your time doing that stuff. And I think that, to Andrew's point, the experience that you can provide as a professional in the interpersonal relationship is what's going to have someone not care about handing over whatever the monthly charge is, whatever. I'll sign the check, right? I had a client today. This woman, Carol, has been with me for years. She's 63, and we did her in-body today. And she was down like 3% body fat to like, I think she was like 17% body fat. It's 63 years old, and her muscle mass was up 2 pounds. And
Nice.
she was like, this is completely worth the drive from Saddle River down here.
That's a huge.
It's massive.
Just for that, just hearing that alone.
Her exact words were,
Yeah.
this is completely worth
Yeah,
the drive.
like I can't even imagine like someone saying that. Like, you're worth my drive.
Yep.
Where
And I was like, Carol, I know this, but thanks for saying it.
you're like, can you say it here? Record it and put it out there. No, I totally agree. I think that the one thing that I'm noticing that
I've also never looked at what I do, though, as trying to be better than what's out there. Just trying to do the best I can for the person.
for the
that's in
person
front
at the
of me.
very moment, right?
Yeah.
I 100% believe that too.
Because I had a guy who I was working remotely with ask me like, what's the difference between like what you're giving me and this app I want to look at? And I was reluctant to say anything other than if you have to ask that question, you haven't really fully thought about what I'm doing for you currently.
Right.
And I really haven't spoken to him since then.
Yeah.
Which is fine. He's just not ready to really dive into the stuff that we needed to dive into then.
Right.
Agreed. I mean, you got to be all in for it, but as intimidating as it is, the best ones are able to articulate the message in a way to get them in. But if they're not ready, they're not ready.
Fortunately, the world's not ready.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So moving fast forwarding through this entire part of your life at this very moment, you said you left the fitness industry
Yeah.
to go to corporate America? Would you do Primerica like all the other Filipinos? Come on.
No, actually, I was kind of in corporate America, but not corporate, but like health and fitness corporate with Lifetime. Then I was at Equinox, and then the BKBX thing, and then Gym Guys. But I
Your
need.
brother's still with Lifetime, right?
Yeah, he's killing it over in Austin, Texas now.
Oh, they moved him from Minnesota.
Yeah, he was in Minnesota now. He's at,
Minnesota.
yeah. Hey, don't you know?
Don't you know?
Yeah.
So then you
I left. I just left the fitness industry as a whole because I could not find anything stable at that point in my life. And I was like, you know what? COVID has been so horrible to me when it comes to health and fitness, and I need to be able to pay my bills. So I wanted to take all the skills that I've learned from health and fitness and management and people and everything and see if I could translate that into another industry. And that's where I am now, actually. During the day, I am a director of sales for a medical device company called New Motion, where we specialize in power and manual wheelchairs.
Oh.
So I still get the fulfillment that I'm doing
Professor X.
something.
Word. You're Xavier.
Want the Professor X model?
So I still get the
bells and
fulfillment to know that I'm helping people, because that's definitely one of my missions in life, is to just be able to help as many people as I can.
Right.
So I still have that connection to helping people. And now it's allowing me the flexibility to come to the gym when I need to.
Right.
But that's even, I wouldn't say a challenge. It's different when you work in the gym because you get a workout in every time. Now I just got to schedule things a little bit differently. So
Right.
that's where I had to make
Is it
a
regular
huge
9 to 5?
change. Yeah, 8 to 5, 9 to 5, but I work remotely. So hope my VP isn't listening, but I'll catch a workout in between during the day when I have in between calls or something.
As long as you're getting your job done.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the difference.
always get my job.
So how'd you end up getting that job?
I just interviewed for something different. I looked at, I was going through LinkedIn, and I was just trying to find something else outside of the fitness industry. And I looked at the job description, and it was everything that I did in health and fitness, as far as coaching and developing
Right. I've always said that.
professionals, teaching someone how to sell. But I hate the word selling. It's really just like showing value and connecting with someone. And I love running businesses, and I love helping people become financially successful. And all the skills of health and fitness led me to where I am today. And been doing it for the last 5-6 months. It's cool. It's cool. It's
Is it
different.
one of those jobs you have to have a specific degree for that field, though?
Well, they were looking for it, but after going through the interview process, and then I answered their questions, I guess, well enough.
At our stage of the game, 20 some odd years of experience.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I keep saying. Like, I considered applying for certain jobs also, and I'm just like, I know. I tell people all the time, like, you can translate everything that we do in health and fitness.
Absolutely.
As long as we know the product. Whatever the product is, it's the same thing as personal training or gym membership. It's all it is. It's translating it to. It's literally just converting your knowledge, and again, building that rapport with whoever is in front of you. And you're not selling it, right? I said again, without having a pitch, just explain what the benefits are, how it would help them. It doesn't have to be an immediate sale. It could be a long-term situation where down the line, that's what I see it too. That's why I was wondering, like everyone told me that if I want to get, I was like, oh, should I do medical sales? And everyone's like, do you have a degrry in that part? I go, I have a degree in sports medicine. I'm like, does it matter? Like, I've never even whipped that thing out.
Yeah.
I'm like I don't even know where. There we go. Right there, Filipino style. I was waiting for Dave to say something.
That's a shame you have 4 kids. That's a lie.
It's where it landed.
Yeah.
So I've never utilized my degree
There we go.
in front of, no one's ever asked for it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what's the point? I don't even know where it is. I absolutely don't. My parents moved to Vegas. Maybe they have it there. I have no idea where it is.
They may have gambled it away.
They could have burned up.
So
somewhere.
there's
I
another
don't know.
John Baruch walking
Well,
around with
I
your
bet you that's why I'm getting-
with your credentials.
That's why I'm
somewhere.
getting phone calls. That's the problem.
That's great.
So then, now you're doing this. So let's circle back to the beginning. DJ
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Mendez. So
That's me.
where does that part come into play? Because I was looking up your stuff, and I was like, oh, so you're DJing for 103.5? Are you still?
I used to.
You used to. How long
yeah.
did you do that for?
Oh, like 7-8 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I was, man, My DJ career was very long. I started when I was probably my first pair of turntables was at the age of 11.
Okay.
My first club gig was at 12. And then
Club gig at 12.
yeah.
What club?
Yeah.
What club?
Yeah, I
The
mean
hell
it was
is
like
that? Mickey Mouse Club?
no, like raves, like old Limelight and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
my God.
Wow.
Yeah. And then yeah, I was just DJing those types of things. And one thing led to another. I landed this job at another teen club. I was 15 then. Then I started DJing. It was called the Music Factory in East Rutherford. That used to be LT's. Yeah.
That's right.
So I was a DJ there, and
46
it was just a culmination of just being at the right place at the right time. I was DJing a lot of the clubs in the city, and then got my shot on KTU, and then I was on every
How'd you
Saturday
get
night.
that?
How'd I get it? Funny story.
Because I feel like everyone in their mother's like, I'm a DJ, but it's like I know, like if you're doing stuff like that, like you're good.
Yeah.
right.
I mean, just through developing relationships and being a good person, promoters hired me for all the big spots in New York City, like Limelight, Sound Factory, Tunnel, Saatchi, Cheetah was one of my probably biggest residencies. Again, I said Limelight already, but all the major clubs. And then KTU started this thing called the Sanctuary from 3 to 5 a.m. every Saturday night, where they just had some of the best DJs in the Northeast spinning. Like Denny Chetos was on there, Jonathan Peters was on there, DJ Boris. It was like the 3 to 5 slots.
I actually know those names.
Yeah.
I know DJ Boris.
I know nothing
Yeah.
about this music.
Mhm.
Those names I know.
Yeah, Johnny Vicious. I mean, it was just, yeah, it was like the time slot where if you were a real club kid, you were listening to KTU every Saturday night because you're either leaving the club or leaving the club and going into the city, and that was a thing. So long and behold, somebody that grew up in the town that I grew up in, Clifton, New Jersey, his name is Jeff Z. We were from the same town. He was the program director for KTU. And he saw that I was making a name for myself, and he gave me a shot to be one of the resident DJs on the station.
Oh.
Yeah. So the rest is history. Then from there, was on KTU for a while.
Same time slot the whole time?
3 to 5 a.m. Yeah. I mean, that
For
was
7 years?
for it was a rotational basis. So there was the four of us.
Every Saturday.
Yeah. No, the show was every Saturday, but it was the four of us. It was like Denny Chetos, Johnny Vicious,
Got it.
DJ
Yeah,
Boris,
yeah.
myself.
But you were all there at the same time. I was
We
like,
were
what are you guys doing
rotating.
together?
And then through that, developed a great relationship with this gentleman named Geronimo, the G-Man.
Yes. Yeah.
And he moved over to Sirius when Sirius just started. And when Sirius Satellite Radio just started, that's when he brought me over from KTU to Sirius. And then I was on Sirius for probably like the first 6 years that it was in existence. So I was one of the original DJs on Sirius. It was like me, Tiesto, Paul Van Dyke on Saturday nights. So my name was alongside
Let's
some
get
of the
down
best.
to business, Tiesto.
Yeah, let's get down to business. So my name was alongside those types of names. And yeah, I just developing relationships and being good to people.
What was it, 2005?
Somewhere around there, yeah. Yeah.
So why'd you leave?
Just on to other things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not enough money? I'm just kidding.
It wasn't the money. It
would
was,
you would you have done other time slots? Would you have used? Is it something you still want to do?
in radio and all that, there's just, it runs its course and then it just turn over. So the next crew, it's weird to say, the next crew of up and coming DJs just take over.
Mm-hmm.
And funny because like I'm only 43 and at that time I was still in my early 20s and I was considered to be like old in the business, but not old just because I've been doing it for so long. But I just got into producing records and getting in the recording studio and working with artists and developing music that way because I come from a musical family. My father is one of the most famous drummers in the Philippines. I'm sure anybody within the age group of 50 and 70 know who my dad is and their band, the Juan de la Cruz Band. So he was he was the lead. He was the drummer for that group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I play the drums, I play the sax. So reading music and playing music was
Played
something.
sax?
Yeah.
Oh, I played sax all through high school.
Yeah.
I
So
played drums
So
too.
did I. Oh my God, yeah. Alto sax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a tenor. Tenor.
It's just a bigger one.
I auditioned for jazz band with the baritone. I hated it.
Yeah.
Hated it.
That's the big one, the huge one.
Yeah,
baritone
the saxophone too.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
Yeah, so I
so-
got into producing music and, you know, making remixes for artists and just being in the other side of it, because being in the clubs every weekend, and at the time my fitness business was taking off and health and fitness took first. And I didn't want to DJ in the clubs on the weekend, because if I'm preaching a healthy fitness lifestyle, I can't be out every single weekend boozing it up and looking at my clients in the face and saying, "Oh, what'd you do this weekend?" "Well, I got pretty hammered this weekend." You know, you can't own a business or be a fitness professional and not lead the lifestyle. So then that's when I stopped. Not really stopped. It went from DJing every week to like a couple times a quarter, because I really wanted to get more behind the scenes. And it's just like the evolution of being in that industry. You know, you go from DJing all the clubs and then radio. Then since you're on the radio, you have the relationships with the record labels to make the music that people are listening to in the clubs. So it's just like the path of being in that industry.
That's pretty unique. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's an awesome life you've lived there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you start DJing again, like because of COVID? I feel like at some point I saw you doing all the
You were
live
doing
stuff on
promotion
Facebook.
stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've always DJ'd, but it wasn't something that I was trying to do, because health and fitness was my passion. Like I felt like I did that in my 20s and my 30s, and I wanted to do more of my health and fitness business. But while I was living out in Long Island, a very dear friend of mine, Dimitri T, came into the Equinox that I was the general manager of out there. And he sat down in front of me. He goes, "Dude, you're like Andrew freaking Mendez. Where have you been and why aren't you doing this? Like, you're letting your talent go to waste." And like, I looked at him and I was like, "No, I'm not. What do you mean?" And at that point, when I had that conversation with him, I realized that I wasn't maximizing my potential. Like, I was putting all my eggs in one basket. And I said to myself, if I just manage my time properly, I could do both. Mm-hmm. Made some pivots to my schedule. And then that's when I started DJing a little bit more, started a podcast of music. And it went from 500 listeners to like 10,000 listeners in 3 months.
You still do it?
Not as much, because I like kind of did that. And when I finally realized, I'm like, "How? Holy crap. After all these years, I'm still kind of relevant." My goal now is to cement my legacy as a DJ in the industry. So then the pandemic happened and everybody was home. So that's when I took advantage of that and started live streaming for people throughout the pandemic. Started this page on Facebook with my friend Dimitri and a couple others called the Classics Group, and it went from, it's up to like 30,000 followers on it. It's crazy. And we were just live streaming each and every single week, and more people kept tuning into my live stream every Saturday night throughout the pandemic. And that kind of gave me a little boost to where we are today, where I'm just starting to gig again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like doing live streams type of gig, or like
No, I'm actually not done. I went on from live streams because now like that venues are opening again,
right,
and people remember what I did for them throughout the pandemic. I mean, I get messages from people that were like, I had cancer throughout the pandemic and I was going through chemotherapy, and the thing that kept me going every Saturday night was your live stream.
The soundtrack to my recovery.
Basically, yeah. And I would get dozens of messages like that. Crazy, like people going through separation and divorce during COVID, and they had nothing to do but like they could have went down the destructive path of doing like drinking every night or whatever, but you know what, they're like tuning into my live streams 2-3 times a week to just listen to music and just forget about life for a little bit. It was really fulfilling. I didn't realize what such a connection that was throughout that, and thanks to Andrew, because if it wasn't for a lot of his tips, to live streaming when it comes to lighting and camera angles and all that stuff. I'll never forget. It wouldn't have looked as cool as it did. Yeah. So yeah, that kind of just re-energized me, because to know that people that still kind of cared about me, it was very fulfilling. So that turned into as clubs started to open up and get back to normal, I was getting booked again, and here we are today.
So what do you? It seems like you went through a whole, basically you said a year and a half of like this weird depression or spiral state, and then we come here to today where you have multiple balls juggling the air. He's gonna say something. I was gonna say. I was like, I said it, and I was like, damn it. You're juggling. Still, you can still go with this.
Yeah.
You still spin
balance. I'm
yeah,
balancing.
you have so many things going on right now. What do you want to do with all of it? I feel like there's so many directions you can go in. And it's weird. Not so much the DJ part. I'm like, dude, there's so many things that I would love to do with you. I'll be honest with you. I'm like, the fitness game, the industry game, anything like, just there's so many things. This is because I feel the same way. Like after speaking to the Rumble people, and I was just like, this is ridiculous. And the first thing I thought was they need me and Dave's help because they don't get it.
Yeah.
They just don't get it. I'm like, you guys think just because you put money into a box and that you put a name on it, people are going to come flocking to you. I was telling Andrew this before. They're banking off their name Rumble to be huge in Englewood. They're like, Hoboken opened up with X amount of people. We're expecting Englewood to have the same amount of impact. I go, Hoboken and Englewood are two completely different
markets.
worlds.
Yeah, different markets.
I go, dude, like, I don't know where you're coming up with. Hoboken's walking distance for people. That's an age group without children.
Yeah.
Where the majority of them don't have children. That's like 20 to 30-years over there. Englewood is families.
Yeah.
They have to drive to you.
Parking is huge.
Yeah, it's a different market. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, there's no way you could. I'm not saying you can't.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a different hustle.
Yeah, different demographic.
Right. And you got to market it differently, right? And that's my whole thing. They're like, oh, it should do the same. I go, but you got to go at it the wrong way. I was like, you're going to be really disappointed, and especially if the owner. And she started following us. If the owner doesn't get in the game, I go, just because you're a member. Again, I keep saying, like, what it's like on that side of the table.
Yeah,
you got to be over here, and you got to take your licks, man. You got again, you go some of this, but you got to take the hits. Again, we can go.
That's taking the licks. That's the VIP membership,
right? That's the one that it's definitely worth its value there. And and after talking to these people, I'm just like, this is where I want. This is the space that and I said this before. I want to start consulting or like helping fitness, whatever it may be in the fitness realm, and also martial arts schools. I believe that there's such a huge market. I've seen martial arts consultants making 10, 15 grand a month consulting other martial arts schools. I'm just like, I don't know who you are. You're making 200 grand a year. And I was like, you are like a nobody to me. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Because I know just as much as you do, if not more.
More, you do.
That's my whole
Guaranteed.
thing. I was like, all right, so this is where, specifically after today was a big thing for me. But like, I want to take 40 and Fit, make it a launch pad for something better and unique. I want to do something along those lines. I'm like, I need to connect with the right people. Again, I have connections. I know a lot of people. And it's just like, but do I want to work with certain people? It literally hasn't been until this last year. Like, Dave is one of the very few people that I want to do something with, because he's the one that I actually trust to understand, and he gets the game. He gets it, and he listens. It's different when someone actually listens.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest things in business in general. Is that you have to be an active listener.
Right.
If you're not listening, there's no way you could embrace the change or make the pivots or help someone if you're not listening to them.
Right. And that's this big thing when it comes to the owners of a lot of these facilities, is like, they have this vision. Great, be a visionary, but be realistic to what it takes to get to that vision.
Yeah.
I go, it's not going to happen overnight. COVID, I keep saying this, we could be at the tail end of COVID. We don't know. we don't know if another variant's about to kick out.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, schools have still gotten thrown off left and right. I still get notifications about my kids' school. Oh, there's another, 4 more kids got COVID. I'm just like, are you shut down? Like, I don't get what you're going to happen. I don't know what's supposed to happen now.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point for pivoting, which again, I give a lot of credit. Dave pivoted a lot through the whole pandemic, and he was still able, and you still didn't get your unemployment.
Oh no, that's some of the stuff that was getting fixed today, actually.
Oh, really?
It was just very time consuming and very.
Did they get it fixed?
I just had to do some. I was getting just two differing stories from two different people. I was like, why are you making this so difficult? It's fine though.
So you get your money.
Hopefully, because I've spent money on making a record that I shouldn't have spent money on, but I don't give a shit. I'm gonna do it. He knows.
Yeah, I get it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
But better. That's what we've been saying. So yeah, like that's where, the question is, like, what do you want? What are you gonna do with it? Like, what are you gonna do with all this knowledge that you have?
Share it.
You willing to just throw out some freebie stuff?
I'm willing
Make an
to,
NFT?
He's definitely gonna do one more episode of his music podcast, and he's gonna have me on. And we're just talking music.
He's gonna play.
Yeah,
He's gonna
absolutely.
play while he talks. I thought this is a guitar movement. I don't know why I did that. It's like Jackie Chan. But yeah, so you're gonna share, which I think is great.
I want to share as much information as possible because I wouldn't have gotten to where I am today if I haven't had mentors tell me these things. I made a lot of mistakes, and I want to share the mistakes that I made, and just want people to. Again, I think it just comes with who we are as people.
Yeah.
We want to help as many people as possible, and we have so much knowledge and we have so much experience that I feel like it's my moral obligation to be able to share that with people, whether it's in music, health and fitness, business practices, sales practices, or just being a good dude, because I believe in karma and giving out good energy. And that's really my mission. Where I want to go with it, don't know, but I want to take it as far as I can.
I totally agree. Like there's a lot of this happened before I even got literally just on the drive here. I was just like, I want to just start throwing out content. When I was working for Gym Guys, I don't know if I ever told anyone this. I was doing little like 2-minute snippets of my opinion on how I was trying to deal with a lot of business owners and trying to help them out also, martial arts schools and fitness. And I was just putting out little cuts of things, my opinion. Right? And I had the Gym Guys logo while I was doing videos.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one video where I was talking to 2 martial arts owners. I was talking about martial arts owners, and I was like, the one thing that a lot of these owners aren't doing, they're so scared. They don't want to just do it. I said, the one thing I got to tell all you guys is stop being a bunch of pansies and just do it. Just take the jump and figure it out. Like, you'll learn along the way, right? You're going to have to. Like, I can't paint you. I can't give you the perfect the perfect structure. It's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I aired that thing while I was working for Gym Guys. And then I went to, in Long Island, they had a corporate event.
Yeah.
It was their annual. The one was Florida before that, and then they had one on Long Island. And I went there for Northern Jersey. And one of I forgot what her name was. She was like she taught all the,
Heidi?
I think it was Heidi. It was
Yeah.
a blonde lady.
Yeah. Short hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Heidi.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
she was like, listen, we saw the one video. And I was like, which video? I was like, I put out like 12 of them. And she's
And
like,
one
well,
I may not have meant to put out. So
yeah. The one you found in the wrong place.
Yeah.
She was just like, I think you should take it down. I was like, what did I do? She's just like, it's not a good look. You have Gym Guys logo on your shirt and you use little unacceptable language. And then she showed me the video and I was like, which word?
Yeah.
She's like, the pansy word. I go, you just said it to me. It's like
Fuck
I don't
outta
get.
here.
Yeah, they wanted me to take it down.
Yeah.
Or they're like, or can you blurb out Gym Guys on your shirt somehow? I was just like, no, it's not coming down. I go, just for the fact that everyone's paying attention to that one, that made my day. I was like, you're all paying attention to that. The guys from Marinick, are the ones that found it and sent it to it. I was like, but Marinick, I don't even know you guys.
Yeah.
You're in Westchester. Like, what are you watching my videos for? And I was like, all right. Well, I just never took it down. So it's I don't even know where I was going with the story. I just wanted to tell that story that these people, I want to put out little blurbs like that. I
Yeah.
want to put out
Content.
content like that. Again, free. Like I don't really care. I just wanted everyone to know. Like when I was helping filmers.
Shit, we do that every day here.
There you go, right? And then eventually, you know, Gary Vee says it all the time, right? Like just put out something. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be, major. It doesn't have to be like life impactful. But eventually, these people that watch your stuff enough, they'll start asking you for more advice.
Yeah.
And if that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do. Then you can put a dollar value to whatever it is at that point. And I think that's where I want to go with it. That's what I realized on my way here. That's what it was on my way here. That's what I'm going to start doing again.
Yeah.
I have to start putting out things like that on, perceived value of your facility. How do you come up with your dollar amount? Square footage, how much each thing is supposed to be worth, and how you come up with your price point, right? Like I want to read that book that Andrew was talking about how you come up with your pricing and stuff like that. I gotta get a deeper dive. What's it called?
Pricing Creativity.
Pricing Creativity by who?
It's Blair and it's a $350 book.
$350 book. I'll probably torrent it somewhere and get it free. That's what I do. I'm Asian. And that,
So you just bootleg it?
yeah, to completely bootleg the whole thing. So I did with certifications. But yeah, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I think content is super important. Even in anything that you do, especially health and fitness. But putting out content, I mean, you become that. Like you said, you want to be the go-to person when it comes to someone that has a question.
Right.
So how are you going to position yourself in the market that you're that guy? And that's, I think, some of the advice that I used to give a lot of the trainers that I would mentor when I was a personal training manager or hiring manager for Lifetime Fitness. It's like, what are you going to do to separate yourself from other trainers where you're going to add value, where people go to you for the answers?
Right.
Because there's 50 trainers in this building. Everybody has a different skill set, but what's going to separate you from them? How are you going to show value to your clients or to the community in these four walls of a brick and mortar where everyone's going to be like, I want to go to Dave?
What was the best answer you heard?
I don't know if there was a best answer. No,
The one you liked the most. You're like, this guy gets it.
I can't think of one. Wow.
What was the worst?
I don't think it was the worst. It was just, I was shocked at how many people didn't know how to do it. And I think that's what motivated me to want to
Which was
just
what?
mentor.
How to say that? How to define that?
What they're going to do to separate themselves from a room full of trainers. And it was just amazing to me that nobody knew how to do that when I would hire a team of trainers.
Not everyone know how to stick out, be
Because
exceptional compared to the rest of them.
yeah,
It's
well,
not necessarily being
it's-
exceptional. It's just
They
didn't-
I use the wrong
defining
word.
your
Yeah.
own process.
they didn't know how to articulate themselves well enough
okay.
to be able to know it. Because you talk to a trainer, be like, what do you like to do? Oh, well, I'm a corrective exercise, specialist. All right, cool. Like,
so you like to waste money on certifications don't mean anything. Got it.
yeah, no, but I'm like, all
You
right.
add 3 letters to your name now.
So it'd be like, all right, what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to tell people that you're a corrective exercise
You should go
specialist?
around telling people I'm a corrective exercise.
Like it's, I don't know. I'm like, all right, so how are you going to talk to people about how you can help them with this? And they wouldn't know. So it's like that.
That's a huge segment that we should do.
I felt bad because I'm like, here you are in a profession that I love so much. You got the certification and you want to help people, but you don't know how to do that.
Talking to people could be a certification in and of itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
They think because they have the letters or the cert, or the minute you get the shirt that says trainer, you can walk down the floor and you're like, sessions available, and everyone
Yeah.
flocks to you like, come to me, my jungle friends. And it doesn't happen like that.
No, absolutely far from it. What was something when I was working with Dr. Paul Juris and BKBX, the thing that we hated was how, and there's nothing wrong with how Equinox does it, but they had a different color trainer shirt.
Yep.
And
New York
that,
Sports Clubs much? We do
We
the
do
same
the
thing.
same thing.
yeah,
the
and
floor
you would be a
trainers are
floor
red.
trainer.
Yeah.
And, you go out there and find business, right? That drove me crazy because how can you teach a trainer how to interact with people when it's embarrassing to do it that way. So what we did was
You've essentially given them like the janitor shirt. You're like, go do something and make something of yourself. Wow, thanks, appreciate it.
yeah, it's like, go talk to that person. They don't know how to squat. And like you're telling a new trainer to go up to somebody that's been working out for so long, and you'd be like, I'm not going to correct this guy. And it just didn't feel right to me. And I didn't think that there was a lot of coaching. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, because there's a lot of people that put on that blue shirt or a different color shirt and they go out there, own it, and crush it. But those are unicorns. You know, it's few and far between. Yeah. So what we did was we included personal training in the membership, and we were giving trainers salaries, high salaries, and their job was just to program for every member that came in the building, to make it less intimidating and to make sure that personal trainers were able to work with everybody. Because the other thing was, personal training is super expensive, right? But we all know people need to work with a personal trainer. And the other thing about it was, even when you do a consultation with a trainer and that person couldn't afford personal training, what happens to that person? They get left to the side.
Right.
All the trainers like, don't go talk to that person. They don't buy.
Right.
You know, and that's how it is in the industry, and it sucks. So we wanted to flip that around and say, hey, how about like, what if personal training was included in your membership and you just had a trainer 24/7 at your service? So there's a way with the P&L and the numbers of the business model that we put together to make that happen. And we gave trainers careers, because we'd give them like a super high salary. Everybody had training, but if somebody wanted something specific, then that's when there was the charge for it. Like if you're a runner, or if you're like a power lifter, or if you really need something more specific. But the programs that we were going to put out for our members were very great programs, because it was the job of the trainer to sit there and program workouts.
Where was this for?
It was for a company, the BKBX.
Right. See, I feel like that I pitched that to Fountain Fitness and said, make it part of make it a membership.
Yeah. The challenge with that is,
well, you couldn't convert them afterwards as well.
The financial aspect to it, because like we were going to give trainers like a $65,000, $75,000 salary. So you have to be able to work the P&L in a way. And that was my job, to make it work.
All right. Wasn't that where it isn't that how the gym in Montvale started off, with giving the trainers salaries?
There was a base.
There was a base.
Oh, there was a base. Yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah. Then you get a session cut on top of that. And then I think it's before I was there, but I think at certain levels you'd get a higher increase or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. But then you just basically did away with that, and then your per session pay just went up. So if you kept your sessions where they were, you didn't really lose anything. Actually, you lost a lot, but paycheck to paycheck, you didn't really lose. But we had and when we get less busy in the summertime.
Oh, so you lose.
They would use like
right,
your last 6 months average.
Yeah, trailing average.
So if you were doing like 35 sessions a week, if you were doing 20 sessions a week, you still got paid for 35 during the slow times. If you were a certain level or whatever, been there long enough.
Right.
I miss those days.
Yeah.
Do you still feel that model would still work?
Yeah.
I think it would, 100%. I think that's actually...
That's how we were so successful in pre-sale, when we were, sitting down with clients and saying, hey, I could literally look in somebody's eyes and be like, what if I were to tell you I could guarantee you success right now with your health and fitness goals? I'm like, how do you do that? I'm like, how about working with a personal trainer? I can't afford it. What if I were to tell you that it's included in your membership? Get the F out of here. I'm like, no, seriously. You would get templated workouts curated by a fitness professional that is suitable for what you want to accomplish. For example, if I was, my passion too is Olympic weightlifting, and I would say, hey, if you want a strength and conditioning program, I'm going to be putting out content and workouts specific to what I'm good at. And if you have any questions with these workouts that I'm putting out, you could contact me anytime through the app, and I'll answer your questions, and I'll even meet you at the gym tomorrow, because that's my job, to help you.
How much were memberships at that point?
Well, we were only charging about $179 a month for it.
For how many sessions? Or it's just whatever you want? You could be like, hey, I need to meet you tomorrow at their beckoning.
Yep.
What times would the trainers work?
It would be split shifts.
I like the concept.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I mean,
still like the
we really wanted to take the fitness industry and turn it upside down and really make it where everybody could work with a personal trainer, because you have to work with a personal trainer. I believe everyone needs to work with a personal trainer.
I like the concept. I think that's a direction that a lot of facilities should be going in still.
Yeah.
I think so. You should just make it part of the membership.
Yeah.
Why even argue it?
Anybody that always asks me or anybody talks about it, I'm like, if you have the means to work with a personal trainer, please do it. I mean, the country's in so much debt. Might as well just put like a 24 pack or 48 pack on a credit card anyway. You're going to like the amount of knowledge that you're going to learn from working with a personal trainer, that $4,000 or $1,200 that you're going to put, you are learning so much from someone that's going to set you up for long-term success that it's stupid why people don't do it.
What do you think about the differences in trainers from back in the day, from when we started to now?
I think that it's a different
Be honest.
game now. It's a different game.
Yeah.
I mean, I see younger trainers now trying to do some weird stuff. I'm old school.
Well, like functional training, like Juan Carlos training wasn't weird. Standing on stability balls.
Yeah, like I
Super
mean,
legs.
yeah, super legs.
Super legs.
I remember I used to
Super
do
chest.
that. Yeah. I believe in functional training, but there's a right way to do it. And I think the kids today, they want to get on their TikToks and their YouTube channels and their Instagram and show them doing something stupid, ridiculous like we see at the gym today. And that's what frustrates me, because that's not what's going to get someone to their goals.
Right.
Because you're putting out this content that's like cockamamie that doesn't really mean anything, because you just want to gain followers so you could charge for your online program. But that online program, is it really customized to the individual? And then it becomes about making money, not helping people. So
Yeah.
I think that's the difference between old school trainers and new school trainers. There's nothing wrong with it, because people buy into that anyway. Like, you're still working with someone that has some type of knowledge, but how are you going to present that knowledge to the masses? And I think people want to do it in such a big scale that it loses that personal touch, personal training, you know?
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like it's weird how we're the old guys now, right?
Yeah.
We're the old guys. We're all preaching the same thing. We've shown success. We have shown success. Yet we still get shut down because of TikTok and YouTube and all these Instagram fitness professionals, or whatever you want to call them at this point. And I find that part, that's the biggest challenge. It's like, how come we're still not heard? Like, what's going on with the fact that everyone wants this weird instant gratification? And because, like you said from the first podcast, you know, likes are the new currency.
Currency,
You
yeah.
know, and that's what everyone wants. They want as many likes and many followers as possible. Why not just go with quality, right? We'll actually show you results rather than how to stand on one toe.
I mean, it really comes down to the individual. I mean, they're going to get those dopamine hits and feel good about getting all those likes, and they're going to continue on that path and think that's really helping people. But you have to let go of your ego if you want to be successful in this business wholeheartedly. Because why do you want to become a trainer? It's because you want to help people, right? It's not for the likes. So when I speak to people who just get their certifications, or if someone asks me about programming and, oh, I'm going to be doing this and that, I'm like, all right, what is the goal?
It's always the first question. What are we doing?
Yeah.
like,
Like-
what do you want to do? Like, why are you here? That's always my question. Is what is it that you're looking for right now?
And I think the newer trainers don't do a good enough job listening. And they're immediately the best at what they do.
Right.
And they just got their cert, but they have all this content, and you should listen to me because I know what I'm talking about. When it's like, not really.
Do you feel big box or box gyms are a dying breed compared to boutique?
Amazing question. No.
No. Okay.
I don't think I think big box gyms can still survive, but the big box gyms who show the value and who put out the content and who develop relationships that could spread the word of mouth, because word of mouth and referrals is the best way to build membership base. Membership dues are what pays the bills.
Right.
And members who are bought into working with a personal trainer or feels that connection, and then you have the ancillary business coming in and you become really successful. I think the big box gyms who make that kind of connection and market themselves that way will be successful.
Yeah, I think that that's always still a question in my mind because, again, just even speaking to Rumble, the Orange Theory. I manage an Orange Theory. And they're huge. They're huge. But nothing's custom to the person. Right?
Yeah.
Nothing's in. It's weird because when opening the Orange Theory, I was hiring the coaches, the trainers, right? And I wasn't hiring them. I made my recommendations, and they picked them for me, right? And it was a weird thing because I would get guys that were quality trainers. I brought in my own people as trainers, and only 2 of them got hired. And I was just like, well, what was wrong with this one? He didn't fit the look. I was like, but you picked that guy who's 21 years old, has never trained a person in his life, and now they're like an elite coach for the. I'm like, I can't see that.
Because you just have to read the playbook. You don't have to be good at what you do.
Exactly. And that's where I was just like, this is a sad part of this game. Like, you're not showing results because, I question a lot of those trainers. I go, what happens if X, Y, and Z happens? What do you do? And they're just like, well, I was like, you're gonna go back to your NA Sunbook and look for it. This takes a lot of experience and time. You got to put your hours in here, and you have to understand what you're actually presenting to people. I go, why are you gonna do what they call froggers, and then go right into a walking line? You jump squats, basically. You touch the floor and jump squat. Yeah. That's all it is. And I'm like, why would you go from that to walking? Like, I need to understand the process. And they're like, well, it's because that's what was in the template. I was like, nice. Oh, that makes sense. I go, so why are you making someone going all out, what they call an all out, which is basically 85 to 90% of their maximum heart rate on a treadmill. Yeah. And then going right into a floor, weight movement. I go, what's the point? And the whole point is design that curve of, burning a certain amount of calories or getting your heart rate up to a certain point and then bringing it back down. It's that whole thing. I was like, and then they called it.
That's one of the best misrepresentations of reading research. I remember when I was talking to you about doing a program for them, and they kept citing this research at the Mayo Clinic. Yeah. You know how many fucking links I clicked on that goddamn website to find the actual study so I could read it? You can't fucking find it at all. But it was just, they were just using blurbs to justify their janky fucking fitness model.
Yeah, it's weird because after I started really paying attention and going into the pro, I started questioning, and I questioned corporate. I go, just real quick, I don't understand, why would we do this? and I generally just didn't understand. Mm-hmm. I go, I've been doing this for a very long time. I just don't understand this part. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, we just came up with it because they come up with a different program. Their whole thing is you get a different workout every day. I go, what are you doing that you have to come up with a different workout every day? What's the general purpose? Where do you have your benchmarks? Where do you have
Tell me someone said you got to keep the body guessing.
Well, that's clearly where it was going with.
Idiots.
Right? You just want to completely.
Clearly the only people guessing are the people putting the programming together.
Yeah, and that's my whole thing. Because when I asked them, they're like, again, average person, they're going to get burnt out. Yeah. That's why I just saw it. I was like, your biggest gimmick was the heart rate monitor, which is fine. Whatever. That's your big sales point. And the fact that you have a different workout and it's always guessing, but I'm like, yeah, but Australia just put out it because they're a day ahead of us and they posted it online, so everyone sees the workout. Yeah, and that was a big part of the whole thing. Yeah. Well, again, that's just the way the game is.
With the boutique fitnesses, I mean, the programming's not there, or whether it is or isn't. I mean, I'm just happy people are exercising at the end of the day. As long as they're doing something.
No, that's. I think that's the first step to get people to move, either move again, move for the first time.
Because what's gonna happen is, and you've seen it, we've all seen it, that someone's barrier entry to health and fitness, going to a boutique gym. Then they're gonna get that addiction. they're going to plateau at some point,
Mhm.
and you're going to have a personal trainer if you want to take it to the next level. So even when I used to do consultations for people that were coming from those boutique fitnesses, I knew that they would hit a plateau. I knew what my pitch, if there was a pitch or anything, was, hey, how's that working for you right now? It's been going great I don't want you to stop doing your Orange Theory, or I don't want you to stop doing this, but you're going to need some type of personalization if you want to get over this hump. And then what that did was I was able to show the value that I had and educate them on what they can do. I was happy. I was like, hey man, congratulations on where you got to this point with your boutique fitness gym. Let me show you what you could do in order to take the next step and accelerate some of your progress or help you get to your goals of looking sexy naked.
Yeah. Oh, damn, see? So,
Yeah.
That's almost what we really want.
Yeah. I want abs. Awesome. Let's get you abs. But I'm taking spin class like 10 days a week. Awesome. Keep doing your 10 days. Instead of doing 10 days of spin class, like
11.
do 11, but also deadlift, squat.
That was a good one.
Yeah, deadlift, squat, and press, and get some
Lift.
strength training in
Yeah.
there.
Just
Eat lumpia and lift
and
heavy.
lift heavy. That's all it is. Right as shirt. Well, listen. Unfortunately, our time is coming to an end at this point. Andrew, that was great. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
No,
Very
thanks
good
for having me.
insight on the fact that you transitioned from all of this music and then out into the other part of this world that keeps money, financial still coming, going. And then, are you coming back to the industry? Are you not? Do you
Who
want
knows?
to, or you
Who
just,
knows?
You don't know.
Who knows?
You're just gonna sell.
The guy's
wheelchairs.
reading his resumes now.
That's true.
I'm able to if I can help anybody, I'm going to share information, regardless of what industry I'm at. If I have information that will help you become successful as in anything in life, I'm going to share it.
Cool. Then we will look forward to a lot of that information. So real quick before we head
I want to know what if you had one tidbit of information for a new fitness professional, what would it be?
Find a mentor. Find
And-
somebody that you appreciate and learn from them.
A new musician of any kind, whether he plays instruments, is a DJ, and they want to just start creating.
I think in anything, you just have to find a mentor. Find somebody that motivates you and figure out what they did in order to get to where they are, whether it's listening to their podcast, reading their book, or if you know them personally, setting up a time to call and just ask how they got to where they got. But probably even before that, let go of your ego, because you're not going to learn anything if you have an ego in your way. And I had to learn to let go of my ego very quickly if I wanted to get to the goals that I wanted to get to.
That's hard.
It's very, very
It's
hard,
hard to do.
especially being an alpha male. Like it was so hard. I used to see so many people like successful, and I wanted to be there, and I thought like me being the best and then trumping everybody was going to get me there, and I found out quickly that that's
The
not
most
way.
alpha shit is knowing when you're like, I need to step back and learn something new.
Yep. Amen.
Well, that being said, so before we head off, let everyone know where we can find you, what you got going on, anything big.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh man, I got a
your
bunch of
social
stuff.
media stuff. What you got going on
I
in the
mean,
future?
I keep everything up to date. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at djandrewmendez. If you want to check out more music, you could go to solo.to/djandrewmendez. I'm playing in Jersey tomorrow night, actually at Sushi Lounge, doing a different gig for my older folks that are my age that can't be out the club till God knows when. So doing that tomorrow at Sushi Lounge, and then I got a couple up and coming shows that I'll be announcing by the end of this week on my social media.
Okay.
Out in Brooklyn.
Wow.
And that's going to be a great show, but I keep everything up to date there.
All right. So all on which site?
DJ Andrew Mendez,
Oh,
solo.to/DJ Andrew Mendez, or on my Instagram at DJ Andrew Mendez.
You use Facebook?
Not really.
We're not that old yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we should use it for business wise. Well,
Yeah.
Well, that being said, Andrew, again, thank you for being on the podcast. Truly appreciate all your knowledge. I hope we could talk a little bit more sooner on other things. And with that being said, again, say goodbye, everyone. We're
Night.
done.
See you
So-
later. Thanks for having me.